Welcome to today's webinar on Reaching Every Learner, Accessibility in Brightspace. We're excited to have you join us. There are a few things to note. Closed captions have been enabled so that you have the option to hide or show those depending on your needs. The Zoom Q&A is open for questions throughout the session. A recording will be posted to our YouTube playlist within the next week or so, and we'll send a follow-up email with a link to that playlist as well as a copy of the slide deck and the Q&As from today. Let's get started with today's agenda. We'll begin with a couple of short introductions. From there, we'll talk about some tools for accessibility. Then we'll provide a demo of the tools in the Brightspace platform. To finish off, we'll have a discussion time and an opportunity for continued Q&A. My name is Christina Bifus, and I'm a Customer Enablement Specialist here at D2L. My colleague Victoria is here with me today. She'll be answering questions in the Q&A and posting resources for you in the chat. Before we dive in, I would like to take a moment to review or to introduce some terms. You might have heard of D2L or Brightspace. To clarify, D2L is the company that we work for, and Brightspace, which is a learning management system, is our product. In addition, we have our Brightspace community. It's a hub of resources where you can connect with other Brightspace users and seek out additional information on Brightspace. There's a link in the chat for you to join the Brightspace community if you have not already done so. A survey conducted a few years ago revealed that students are expecting more from their learning experience, which often means a comprehensive and interactive learning management system. A recent Microsoft survey found that 82% of learners are now expecting that video content is a part of their educational experience. 84% of teachers have noted that it's impossible to achieve equity in education without accessible learning tools. The teachers surveyed said that accessible tech is needed now more than ever. At D2L, we're driven by the belief that everyone deserves to...
I'm Brian Thompson. I am the educational...
At D2L, we're driven by the belief that everyone deserves access to high-quality education, regardless of age, ability, or location. So the accessibility of Brightspace happens by design to enhance the learning experience for millions of learners with varying learning needs and at every stage of life, from the earliest days of school to the working world. Let's watch this video to hear from a client about how they are making learning accessible with Brightspace.
I'm Brian Thompson. I am the Educational Technology Supervisor at Autism Ontario. We support autistic individuals across the province by providing advocacy, by providing education, and by providing access to different supports that can help both caregivers and autistic people throughout Ontario. We chose Brightspace mostly because of two different things. First, the ability to really personalize the experience for different parts of our community. Right from the very beginning, when somebody logs into our platform, they're going to have an experience that's customized to them and what their needs are and what's important to them. The other key piece for us was also accessibility. Being able to think about accessibility not by just, the technical standards of what somebody needs in order to access it, but the overall structure, the design that is going to make it easier for somebody to progress and navigate through a course and a course experience, but also, the ability to be able to use screen readers or assistive technologies to support that learner and be able to enable them to access the content and the possibilities that are there. there's a lot of different things that you can do. If I can imagine it, I can usually build it within Brightspace.
The Brightspace platform was built with an inclusive design in mind. It is mobile, which means that it is responsive to all mobile devices. So whether a user is on a desktop or a mobile device like a tablet or a cell phone, the site is going to adapt its layout to look good and work well for the screen size. Brightspace integrates with third-party assistive technologies such as screen readers, and it has an accessibility checker that is native to the environment, allowing you to check that the content that you're providing is accessible to students. We're going to take a look at this tool a little later on. Finally, Brightspace has been designed and tested against the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, WCAG 2.2 level AAA standards, while regulatory requirements only require level AA. For us, accessibility is not a checklist, but a commitment to empower and engage learners in their learning goals, providing an equitable user experience for every learner. If you are interested in reviewing our accessibility conformance reports, you can access them on our website. The link is in the chat and is included in the list of resources at the end of this slide deck, which will be sent out to you. Today, we're going to focus our attention on 3 accessibility tools in Brightspace: special access, accommodations, and the accessibility checker. Special access is a feature that allows teachers to grant extended deadlines for assignments, surveys, or quizzes to specific groups of students. Accommodations are similar to special access, but it has the benefit of the system remembering a rule to support a specific student. The feature is built into the class list and allows the teacher to grant timing accommodations to a particular student on all quizzes in the course. The system remembers the settings for the student's time limits on all quizzes in the course as either a multiplier of the original time limit or a designated amount of extra time. The accessibility checker is a dedicated button in the Brightspace editor that allows you to review your added content, looking for known issues that may not comply with the WCAG accessibility standards. Some issues could be related to use of paragraph as headings, adjacent links, low contrast, ratio of text to background colors, and missing image alternative text. The checker indicates if there are any issues, it provides details on what they are, and offers suggestions on how to repair them. Now we'll head into the demo portion of this webinar. Through this demo, you will learn how to use special access to accommodate your students' unique needs, how to set up accommodations for quizzes, and how to use the accessibility checker to ensure that your content is free of accessibility issues. Let's take a look. Here we are in the Brightspace environment. Special access, again, allows teachers to give individual students or groups extended Here we are in the Brightspace environment. Special access allows teachers to give individual students or groups extended due dates or different availability windows for assignments without affecting the dates for the rest of the class. In order to show that to you, I'm going to go into the content of my course. And I'm going to find an existing assignment. You can add this to new assignments as well. But for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to go down to this Living Large in Layers assignment, and I'm going to edit this activity. Over here in my availability dates and conditions, is where I can find special access. Down in the special access area, I can click on Manage Special Access. Once you're in, you'll see two options. Allow users with special access to submit outside the normal availability dates for this folder, or allow only users with special access to see this folder. The second option of allowing only users with special access to see this folder should really be used sparingly and with care, because it may hide the assignments from most students. So this one should be selected with care. I'm going to keep the first option and now add users to special access. This is going to open a dialog box that is going to allow me to set the due date for special access. This assignment is due on the 26th of November. I'm going to change that to the 28th, 2 days later, and grant special access by checking the students in the class who I want to grant that special access to, and then by saving, that'll ensure that these students will have a due date of the 28th of November, while the rest of the class has a due date of the 26th. Now I can go ahead and save and close that. It's important to note that special access supports accommodations for students by easily extending deadlines that are in accordance with their documented needs. There's also the flexibility for emergencies by being able to grant makeup time for illness, travel, tech issues, etc. And there's targeted control for this. So you're able to modify the dates without needing to duplicate or to close assignments. It's important to note that the special access can be used with assignments, quizzes, and surveys. And it allows you to support the accommodations for your students by easily extending deadlines for students with documented needs. There's flexibility for emergencies. You can grant makeup time for illness, travel, tech issues, etc. And there's targeted control, which allows you to modify availability per student without needing to duplicate or clone assignments. It's important to note as well that even with the extended availability, late submissions are flagged based on a due date. So if you were to use the access dates and say if an assignment is available in a different time frame, the due date is still will still be what is flagged in for the assignment if that due date hasn't changed. And again, it's important to note that special access is available in the assignments, quizzes, and surveys tools. And they support for accommodations by easily allowing you to extend deadlines for students with documented needs. They have the flexibility for emergencies to be able to grant makeup time for illness, travel, tech issues, etc. And there's targeted control. So you can modify availability per user without needing to duplicate or clone assignments. So let's go ahead and save and close this assignment and then show you accommodations. Accommodations allow teachers to give students consistent modifications, like extra time on quizzes across all quizzes in a course, reducing repetitive setup and ensuring compliance with accessibility needs. That feature is available in the class list. I'm going to click on my class list here. If you happen to not have class list in the nav bar, you can access your class list from the course admin tools. I'm going to click on my class list here to open that up, And then I'm going to scroll to the name of the student who I want to edit their accommodations for. So I'm going to go down to Samantha Kane here, and if I were to click on the drop down arrow next to her name, the Edit Accommodations options opens, and if I click on that, I can see the dialog box. I have the option to modify time limit for her on a quiz. I'm going to check that, and I can here then select one of two options. I can select multiplier of original quiz time, which will allow her to have, if I were to put 1.5, 1.5 times the amount of time that I allot to any quiz within the course. So if I were to create a quiz and allot 30 minutes for that quiz, then she would have 45 minutes to complete it, while the rest of the class would have the 30 minutes. I can also select extra time, which allows her to have an extra 30 minutes on every quiz. So with this multiplier here, this is going to allow for 1.5 times every quiz time that is available in the course. So if there's a quiz that was an hour long, she would have an hour and a half to complete it. And this extra time in minutes allows for her to have 30 minutes on top of the amount of time that's granted for every quiz. This option is really great because it applies to all quizzes in the course. You don't need to modify each quiz individually. It ensures that students with documented accommodations receive fair and consistent access, and the setup is centralized, which helps to avoid missing a quiz when applying extended time manually. And this can be changed at any time from the class list. So we're going to go ahead here and allow her to have 1.5 times the time on every quiz across the board in this course. It is important to note that accommodations do not affect assignments, discussions, or surveys. For that, we can use special access. And the accommodations overrides the quiz time limit, even if the quiz itself has different settings, which may surprise you if you're also using special access. It's also important to note that students do not see accommodations listed, so you need to be sure to communicate that to them clearly. You can see an icon for yourself on your view that this user has accommodations. And finally, accommodations are course specific, so they need to be reapplied in each course. Now we're going to take a look at the accessibility checker. I'm going to scroll back up to my nav bar and go into my content area to show that to you. The accessibility checker in Brightspace helps teachers identify and fix common accessibility issues in HTML content, such as poor contrast, missing alternative text, or improper heading structure directly inside the HTML editor. So here in my module, Biology, I'm going to go into this HTML document, and I'm going to edit this document. When I go into edit, I'm going to be presented with my with the Brightspace editor in the page content. From this Brightspace editor, I can see that there's a tool that has an icon of a person with a circle around it. That is the accessibility checker. If I want to see that a little bit larger, I can open that full screen, and here's the accessibility checker, which I can then click on, which is going to open a dialog box here. And it's going to identify for me any accessibility issues that are presenting in the HTML document. I can see here that there is one issue that is showing up. And this issue is about an image that is in the document. It is letting me know that the image requires either one of two solutions to repair it. It needs to be checked as a decorative image, or an alternative text description needs to be applied. In this case, since it is about an image that does not provide the learner with any sort of description, it isn't an image that is consequential to the material that's being presented, I'm going to go ahead to check that as a decorative image and select repair here so that that issue can be resolved. And as you can see, the accessibility issue has now been resolved and there are no more issues detected. So the accessibility checker is really great to run once you've created an HTML document to ensure that all aspects of the document are accessible. After making any changes, you can go ahead and save them, and you can save and close the document. It's really important to note that the accessibility checker is available inside the HTML editor, so the Brightspace editor here, and it's only checking for HTML files. If you have PDFs, Word documents, or external links within your course content, I would recommend using the accessibility checker within those applications to ensure that there aren't accessibility issues within those documents prior to uploading them into Brightspace. So the accessibility checker is amazing because it does not require any extra tools or software. It's right within the Brightspace editor. It helps you as the teacher to meet all of the accessibility standards in creating HTML files, and you can catch errors early while the content is being created, not after students have struggled with the material. And also, it just really allows you to provide for your students' needs, those who are using especially assistive technology or mobile devices. From the demo, you have seen how to use special access to accommodate your students' unique needs, how to set up accommodations for quizzes, and how to use the accessibility checker to ensure that your content is free of accessibility issues. Thank you for having joined us today for this webinar. We'd love to hear from you. We would appreciate your feedback on our post-session survey. Your feedback helps us to improve our offerings for future sessions to meet your needs better. To participate, you can either scan the QR code on the screen or use the link in the chat. There are also a couple of links in the chat that will direct you to the Brightspace community, where you can learn more about our approach to product feedback and learn more about participating in user experience research. We would appreciate it if you would take the time to check those out too. We invite you to join the D2L Champions program. Being a champion gives you the opportunity to receive points for attending webinars, submitting blog posts, and even giving us reviews online. You can then redeem these points for gift cards and additional D2L services. You can find the link for the Champions program in the chat now. This may have been your first webinar with us, but we have many more to come. Here's a list of the topics that we have planned through February. The link to register for these upcoming sessions is in the chat. Also in the chat is a link to our webinars overview page where you can find the session descriptions and links to our past sessions. Speaking of webinars, our training team hosts 2 monthly sessions for all Brightspace users. The first is a Q&A drop-in session where you can get your Brightspace questions answered in real time. The second is focused on what's new in Brightspace using our monthly release notes. These sessions give you free access to our D2L training team in a way that you might not get otherwise. Be sure to check them out if you're available. You can find a link with more information on those sessions in the chat as well. Thanks for participating in the discussion and sharing your experiences. It's always great to hear from other educators out there. As a reminder, a recording of this session will be uploaded to our YouTube playlist in the coming days, and a copy of the slide deck and Q&A will be shared with you by email. There are also resource slides at the end of this deck that will give you additional information on everything we showed you in the demo today. If there's something that you saw today that you want to learn more about, we encourage you to reach out to your Brightspace administrator for your district or search the resources within the Brightspace community. We have time now for additional questions. Thank you again. We appreciate your time, especially during a long school day. We hope to see you next month. Take care.